Hey, it's Andrew here at BTO Range in Conroe, Texas, and today on the bench we have a little pistol, and this line of pistols really is going to deserve multiple videos as we get representatives of the models in there. This is a high standard Model B, like in Bravo, high standard Model B. And we just recently purchased a small group of high standard pistols over at the range. We got a couple of the pre-war guns, Model A, Model B, and we got a couple of the post-war guns, the Sport King, the Duramatic, and I think we've got a Victor over there as well. So we'll be working our way through those high standard guns and interspersing them in and amongst other ones. But we're going to start this one with the Model B because it's probably the most representative, I think, of the pre-war high standard pistol line. There was a Model A, and we have one of those that's similar to the Hartford gun. But let's talk a little bit about high standard. High Standard Manufacturing Company and the man Carl Swabelius started High Standard Manufacturing in 1926 in New Haven, Connecticut. And they initially started making barrels, firearm barrels was what they did. And also in Hartford, Connecticut, nearby, there was a company called the Hartford Firearms. I don't know if it's Hartford Firearms Manufacturing, just Hartford Manufacturing, but they were making a .22 semi-automatic pistol, kind of similar in design and looks to the Colt Woodsman of the time. So Hartford Manufacturing was going out of business, and High Standard ended up acquiring it in 1932 and began producing the pistols. They began with their High Standard Model A, which was basically the Hartford gun with a High Standard badging on it. But then in 1936, the Model B came out, and that's what this gun is. This particular gun is a High Standard Model B made in 1941. And the serial number charts for the high standard guns definitely still exist, and they're well researched. A man by the name of John Stimpson has done an incredible amount, and others have done an incredible amount of research on these guns, and they can typically pinpoint shipment date on these guns to within a month or two in a lot of cases. But just from serial number charts, 1941 is when this particular gun was made. So High Standard remained in New Haven, Connecticut from when they started in 26, started making guns in 1932 through 1945, through the close of World War II. And then they moved to Hamden, Connecticut, where they stayed for quite a while from 1946 to 1977. And then from 77 to 84, they were in Hartford, Connecticut. And in 1984, the company was having all types of issues. There'd been some correlation with Sears. There'd been some correlation with, AMT, Arcadian Machine and Tool. I mean, there's a bunch of things that were happening with High Standard in the firearms world that were causing it to have financial difficulties. So their parts distributor, national parts distributor, a man by the name of Gordon Elliott, pretty much bought or took control of the .22 pistols, parts and whatnot in 1984. And there was a kind of a limbo period until 1993. High Standard Manufacturing in Houston, Texas was formed. A lot of stuff was moved to Houston. They began attempting to produce the pistols in the Supermatic series, at least, in Houston, Texas. And that wasn't that great a venture. High Standard collectors typically don't recognize the Houston pistols at all, and they tend to focus on the New Haven and the Hamden and Hartford production guns, with Hamden being the most sought after typically. So anyway, back to this particular gun. So the Model B was available in 4.5, this gun in 6.5 inch barrel, and .22 long rifle, 10-shot magazine with a heel clip. So at the time, the U.S. military was looking for a training pistol to help train soldiers in basic training on how to shoot a pistol. So the High Standard got that deal, and even though this isn't really like a 1911 whatsoever. Even the grip angle is different. They purchased around 14,000 Model Bs, and they are U.S. marked when you find them. And then High Standard changed the gun up into the HD, HDM for military, with an external hammer on the rear. This gun is hammer fired. It's an internal hammer. We'll take it down here in a few minutes and show you that. And there was even a model HDM-S, which was an integrally suppressed pistol that was used by the OSS back in those days also. So let's take a look at this gun. Let's clear it out first real quick so we're not, make sure we're not loaded here. So we have a Hill type magazine release. Magazine comes out, run this through. So we're clear here. So the markings on the gun that we have the High Standard manufacturing, all the marking here on this on the left side of the pistol, and we have the High Standard Model B marking here on the left side of the slide. The serial number on the front strap here, and it's also going to be on the inside of the slide, and we'll show you that guy in just a minute. There are 3 different types of takedowns, so there are 3 variants that are recognized in the Model B: the Type 1A takedown, the 1B takedown, and the Type 2. From the beginning, 1932 until 1938, is the Type 1A takedown. And there was a takedown lever on this left side of the frame behind the safety here. And there was a round retracting rod that was visible coming up to the back of the slide. Then from February of 38 to August of 39, the Type 1B, same lever here, the retracting rod was square. And then after that, the Type 2, which is this gun here, we have the takedown lever is actually on the right side of the frame here, and we have a button here on the top of the slide that helps us take it apart. So let's do that, and we'll take the gun apart real quick and show you the field strip procedure for this little gun. It varies a little bit depending on which model it is, but this is the Type 2. So after we've cleared the gun, magazine's out, nothing in the chamber, there's no bolt hold open on this, or slide hold open on this gun. So we're going to hold it back here. We're going to push in and hold this button. We're going to run the slide back forward. We're going to move the takedown lever. Sometimes this releases the spring, sometimes it does not. Okay, the spring is captured. So what we've done by pushing that button in, and we just released it to go back, this button is actually retracting and holding the driving spring that moves the slide back. So push that down, move the slide forward, take down a lever, and now the slide comes off. So depending upon how much wear is on this particular part right here, you may have to hold that button down in order to keep the driving spring from coming to the rear. And if you look at, I don't have my ink, oh yeah I do. There's a channel, it's hard to see, there's a channel right here on this side of the slide, right in here. And that's where the driving spring and its plunger ride, and it rides against this part of the retracting lever that comes up. So by pushing the button in on top of the slide, we're actually holding that driving spring up inside the slide itself. And that allows, and then by, gotta be careful with that, I don't want to unnecessarily pop it. By pulling this lever down, we're moving this lever down and allowing the slide to come off to the rear. So you can see the hammer here. This is the hammer, the internal hammer that you see right here. So ejector. So anyway, that's the field strip procedure. Now, a fairly common occurrence is, because you're manipulating this while you're cleaning it, that or there's a lot of undue wear on this button here, the retracting spring and plunger will pop out and completely take up be visible in this slot, and you're not going to be able to put the gun back together correctly unless this spring is captured. But if that is to happen, it's not the end of the world. You can take a small flathead screwdriver or some other small tool and compress the spring back in, push the button back in, and recapture it. So alternately, there's a plug. There's a plug right here in this slide that's pinned in, that has a cross pin, and that pin can be drifted out. Plug comes out this way, and you can replace the driving spring. And that's a fairly common thing that needs to be done on these old guns, just from age, is that driving spring needs to be replaced. So that would be how you would do it. You would defeat that that pin, remove the plug, and then replace that driving spring. And those springs are being remade new. So the extractor is just keyed in, and it's got a spring and plunger that lives here on this particular model like that. So, and again, these extractors are available. They're being remade as well. So these guns are fairly well supported parts-wise, even though this particular model went away in 1942. So this 1936 or 1942 on this little gun here. So to put it back together, it's just as simple as you'd think. We would start the slide here. We would pull that all the way down. Oh, you have to reach and push that hammer down a little bit to defeat the hammer and let the slide move forward. So once it slides back into place, you notice the takedown lever has come back up to this position parallel to the slide. And then we have good slide return. We have the driving spring is working once again. So if you tried to do that without the slide being captured, without the spring being captured, this takedown lever would be sitting down at like 45 degrees. And you would have no tension on the spring at all. So I don't recommend taking the gun apart any further than that unless it's absolutely necessary for repair of any given internal parts. So let's set that off to the side for a second, and let's talk about this dude here, the magazine. The biggest bone of contention with high standard slant grip pistols, or for that matter even the military grip pistols, is the magazine. The magazines are the tweakiest part, and by that I mean most of the problems with cycling on a high standard pistol are the result of the magazine. So there are specific dimensions for the front of the magazine lips and the rear of the magazine lips. And high standard, well, the current version, there is no high standard manufacturing anymore, but that entire Houston, Texas-based company is still there on Mitchelldale Drive in Houston, but it's now called InterArms Texas. So they accumulated the InterArms name as well during the past however many years it was. And they still produce magazines for the high standard guns. And they're probably the best current quality magazine out there. And they produce also a tool that you can use to bend these magazine lips. And then you would need good calipers to measure the distance between the lips, front and rear, in order to make these guns work. And it can be a trying thing. It can be a very frustrating thing trying to make, if you have an out-of-spec magazine, trying to make it run. So that's the biggest bane of contention when it comes to these guns, is making them run with the magazine. So if you're considering purchasing a high standard magazine, take a look. Now, I'm not sure what magazine this is, to be honest with you. It's not marked high standard. The later guns, the post-war guns, were all marked high standard here. Some of them had a plastic follower on the Supermatic series. They had a green magazine follower here, but they had a red or yellow or other color plastic base plate here. So these magazines are being remade with varying degrees of success. Triple K makes the magazine. I've yet to encounter one that works in their high standard magazine line without excessive tweaking, and sometimes even then we couldn't get them to work. So I'm not a big fan of the Triple K product when it comes to high standard mags. Your best bet, if you can't source an original mag from various internet auction places or wherever on the secondary market, would be to go to that InterArmsTX.com website and pick up one of the mags that they're producing there in Houston. it'll at least be a workable magazine, and we've had good luck with those guys with their magazines. So that's a good place to do that. So the high standard B, the slant grip gun. The cool thing is this model, this slant grip 10-round mag is going to fit any of the slant grip high standard pistols. So the B mag will fit the A, it'll fit the Sport Kings that are slant grip, you know, that type of stuff. So the slant grip mag pretty much is a slant grip mag, except for specific models like 22 short is its own mag, things of that nature. So what ammunition should you use in these? Standard velocity ammo, not high velocity. And certainly not, I wouldn't use hyper velocity ammo like Stingers or Interceptors or any of that other business in one of these older high standard pistols. It's just unnecessary wear and tear on a gun that is, in this case now, it's what, 1941, so what's that, 83 years? 83 years old. So standard velocity ammo is what it's designed to use, and it'll run that well. So it's not going to run shorts without manually cycling it, and you're going to cause a ring of fouling in that chamber. So 22 long rifle standard velocity. We're going to shoot this gun here in a minute with standard velocity 22 long rifle, and we're going to put it on the range. And they're super fun to shoot, and even the field guns. This is like their field gun type thing before they got into the target guns that you see post-war. The various Supermatic Citations, Supermatic Military, all of those things, and the Trophy and the Victor and the 10X and all of those guns were contemporaries to the Woodsman Match Target and contemporaries of the Model 41 Smith. Certainly on the target. In the target realm, they made an Olympic version, they made an ISU version, they made all these different guns with weights and things of that nature too. So they were very big on the target scene post-war. Pre-war, they were typically field guns like this guy here, designed to be the gun you took in the woods with you for small game or for whatever you would use a 22 pistol for. Very much a contemporary of the Colt Woodsman of the day. And then when Ruger came along, the Ruger Standard Auto. So, and you can see the Ruger Standard Auto takes quite a, there's a lot of similarity in grip angle and things of that between those three guns, the Woodsman, the High Standard, and the Colt. So in any event, the High Standard Model B, this particular one's a 1941 gun. What do these things bring? Well, these, and we talk about it in every video, right? We talk about originality, we talk about condition, we talk about scarcity. They're not particularly scarce Model Bs, depending on which takedown variant it is. The 1A and the Type 2 saw considerable production. The 1B with the rectangular rod back here was only a few months of production, really. What we say from 238 to 839, so that's a year and 6 months, so about 18 months of production. So that's a little bit of a premium for that Type 1B takedown, about $7,500 premium over a typical 1A or Type 2 gun. And the U.S. property marked guns, where we see the U.S. property marking on these guns when it's here, it's not on this gun, would typically be in this area here. Property of U.S. would be roll marked here on this side of the frame. So those will bring a little bit of a premium. So what we're seeing now, and I just checked this morning of completed auctions on a High Standard B in typical condition, and there are typically going to be in the 300-ish to top out at about $400 range in typical condition. That said, there are mint condition in box with paperwork guns that easily go over 600 and sometimes up to 1,000, depending on other scarcity features of that, right? So, and then the U.S. property guns typically are $500 plus, depending on any accessories that come with that. So those are definitely, and there's 14,000 of those in the Model B, the U.S. property mark guns. So that's definitely worth something to be on the lookout for. So how do we judge originality? Well, and when we do the high standard Model A, I can show you what one of these looks like when it's reblued. So the markings, the roll markings on this gun are not terribly deep. And we have some pinholes that are drilled through on the slide. So those are the things that I look at when I am comparing the finish on a high standard pistol, and also the color and quality of the finish. So these guns were never hot blued. Hot blued is a process, hot bluing, then hot salt bluing is a process that really came about after World War II. And some companies like Remington and Winchester didn't adapt it to all models until well into the 1950s. But these guns were all rust blued, and some were furnace blued. Colt, Smith & Wesson were doing a process called carbona bluing or furnace bluing. But in any event, these were never polished on a wheel and then dipped in a tank to blue. So if you see that really black, liquidy looking modern style bluing like you would see on a current bolt action rifle on one of these high standard pistols, that's something you can pretty much check from across the room, that it bears further investigation as to why that gun looks that way. And you'll see what I'm talking about when we do the Model A video. But the other thing to look for is how crisp are the letters on this roll marking. So we don't have any washout on these roll marks at all. All the letter edges are crisp. All the quotation marks around the B, these little quotation marks around the letter B are crisp. And we don't have any dishing of the pinholes here on the slide. So we're 100% satisfied, these pinholes that go through here, we are 100% satisfied that this is an original gun. The grips are original. The monogram's correct. The checkering's correct. So now we look at condition, right? So we have a good portion of the original blue left. We have a lot of holster wear on each side of the muzzle here. That's pretty consistent with a gun that's been carried in the field quite a bit. The bore is in excellent condition. It could be cleaned, but it's not pitted, it's not damaged. Mechanically, it seems to work fine. It probably could use, if this gun were going to be taken into the field and shot with any regularity, we would replace the driving spring on this gun just as a matter of course. And we'd certainly offer to do that for a customer if they wanted that done. It's not a particularly difficult project to do. So originality we're good with. Scarcity not so much. I wish it had that U.S. marking on it or the 1B takedown, but it doesn't. But that said, it's still a pre-war high standard. So I would figure this gun to roll in that $300 to $350 range would be what I would consider the retail for a gun in that condition to be. And they could go much higher than that. At any given auction, it takes two people to want it, and then all bets are off. So be on the lookout for the high standard guns. Once you start shooting them, the triggers on these guns are phenomenal. They're way before lawyers really started getting involved in the triggers of pistols. And it's a nice, crisp trigger pull. That one tips at about 3.5 pounds. I haven't put a scale on it yet, but that's something we may do later on when we do the shooting portion of this video. But hey, it's Andrew here at BTO Range at Conroe. We've got our high standard Model B from 1941, and we're loading up some 22 long rifle. We've got some Aguila 22 target ammo here. It's standard velocity ammo. It's a little bit on the light side. We'll see if it runs it. I don't want to put any really high velocity stuff through this old gun. And kind of typical for these high standard number 2s, when we load the cartridges into the magazine, there's a little bit of constriction right here that kind of click into place, and they can be a little finicky to get in the magazine. We talked about the magazine being the biggest problem with the dimension of the feed lips on the magazine. So they kind of snap into place, if you will, then they'll feed up in. And there's no There's no slide hold open on this gun, but you can see there's not a whole lot of feed ramp here. It just pretty much feeds out of the magazine on up into the chamber. So that's why the magazine is so critically important. The configuration of those feed lips is so critically important to making the pistol run. So let's give it a try and see. Fed right in there. Let's see if I can make it exactly like this. Yep. I had a little bit of an issue on that next to the last round. Now there is a safety that locks up into this slide here, so we can do that. Let's see how poorly I did. That wasn't that great. But nice little pistol here from 1941 with some 22 standard velocity ammunition. Anyway, High Standard B, if you like what we're doing, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell to be notified when we post new videos. We try to do at least 1 or 2 a week in various things, whether it's a take apart video or one of these out of production gun videos, whatever you want to call it, remembering the past. And then, you know, some new product review stuff. We're starting to do a little bit of that as well. So we appreciate you watching as always. We'll keep doing it as long as you guys keep watching for sure. And we'll see you on the next one. Thanks.